Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game I Dig. I thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening into another Why You Know Game discussion. And this might sound odd, but the weird thing is Square Enix did this, and I'm looking at Capcom and I'm like, why couldn't you guys do this? Why not release the remastered versions of Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, as well as Code Veronica, and a few of the other Resident Evil games that played from a fixed camera perspective, so that people could have those versions of the games and still be able to play them, and just release them and call them Resident Evil Classics. They could still make money off of those games, because there would be people who would be interested in purchasing higher resolution versions of those older games that they could play and still get the feeling of the classic style of gameplay. I mean, yeah, essentially you're not remaking the games, you're just giving them some polish. So it would make a lot of sense to go ahead and do that, because again, it's an option. It's an option you can sell for cheaper than the new games, and you give players both options. Now, obviously everybody's going to have their preferences to what they like more, but again, you give people the option to have both, they're probably going to actually purchase both. Or at the very least, you can make a little bit of extra money off of those older versions of those games, and you could strengthen your fan base's resolve in you. I don't see it as a problem. I do see it as a win-win type of situation. I mean, we still have Final Fantasy VII Remastered, even though Final Fantasy VII Remake is currently in limbo and being developed. I say it's currently in limbo because we do not know how long this game is actually going to take, or this series of games is going to take to actually complete. But I don't see it as a bad move. Again, Capcom could do, like, they could make the remasters of these games and then open them up to be modded. Like, even make a modding suite for the games within them, so that it's easier for people who do mod to import what they would like to add to the game and change it up to be how they want it to be. And if they're really slick for Resident Evil 2, slip in a modded version of Resident Evil 1.5 that you can actually play to completion. And for Resident Evil 4, slip in some of the modded versions of Resident Evil 3.5 so you could play those to completion. I mean, it would just make a lot of sense, right? And again, they can make a bunch of money off of it. And on top of that, the fans would be happy. I just don't see an issue with this, that it would make it bad, outside of somebody complaining that they can't adjust to the tight controls from the fixed camera perspectives. And then that situation, that's a play around with the game so you can learn how the controls work and, you know, actually acclimate yourself to it. Now, I will say that some of the games could benefit from some additional features and maybe some additional gameplay tweaks, but you do still want the overall package to be the original games. Like I have touted before many times, that I would have loved to see Resident Evil 2 with all of this all of the content from all of the games combined into one, because it just makes a lot more sense. Because in 64 version of Resident Evil 2 had files that tied that game to Resident Evil 0, and those are in no other versions of the game. I mean, they could be in a remake, but I have not played all the way through the remake myself just yet to know. So I can't say they're there, but I do know for a fact that they were in Resident Evil 2 for N64. Again, I look at it and I'm just like, this would work so well if they did it. Or Resident Evil Outbreak 1 and 2 could be part of the Classics collection. Again, it will be up to Capcom to put them out there, but I do think that they would be fairly successful. I could see it being fairly successful and a lot of fun. I don't know, but I mean, it's just a thought. Just one that I would really like to see happen. But that aside, thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me, and until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out, everybody.